I went to the wrong place. I went to the void by accident. Oopsie. Hi, Millie. Welcome, welcome. How is everyone doing tonight? Thank you for the raid. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, sorry I sent you to the void. It happens sometimes. Oh, I have an echo still? Oops. I still have on reverb. Oh man, I'm a mess. Whoops. Hold on. Let me just fix that. There we go. Hi, Miri. How is everyone doing tonight? Welcome. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. For those of you that, for whatever reason, somehow don't know me, I am Blaze Shinryu. I am, believe it or not, the great, the wonderful, the amazing, most beautiful Muties, Genmi. Cute Dino Hoodie, thank you. I stole it from Amora. I hope she's here watching this. I did as you wished. I was talking to her earlier today. I popped into her stream. And I convinced her to wear my Dino Hoodie. And then she said, you better wear my Dino Hoodie next, honey. And I was like, yes. So here I am. You were there? You were there, yeah. Hello. Do I call Amora my princess? Maybe not in public. That sounds bad. That sounds so bad. That's not what I mean by that. Okay? I mean, like, it's a term of endearment. No. No! No. No. Head out of the gutter. Bonk, 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 bonk. No gutter. Get out of there. Frost in a jar? Yeah, she's in there until I don't know when. Don't worry, I poked arrows in the top. She can breathe. It'll be fine. Yeah, no gutter. Wrong stream or wrong stream. Your head is allowed to be like 6 feet into the gutter when playing a game where a character is very attractive. Baldur's Gate. Lies of P. Literally any visual novel. A princess and her Adam Ruby Draconic Knight. The legendary pairing unlike any other. Yes, I could never take Navi's role as her teacher and her mentor and her beloved friend. But I would fight. I would definitely fist fight for Amora. Yes. I would fist fight for everyone in Haven and Amusea. And even the CEO and all the managers. I would just fist fight for fun. I don't think I need a reason. If I'm being honest. So anyway, Blaze, have I shown you the Dragon Age voice yet? I don't think you have, my dear. Send them, send them, send them. I want to see. I'm gonna react live time. Send me pictures of them with their names, and I'll react live time. But would you fist fight them? Specifically in Crab Game? Who? Fist fight who? Specifically who? Hello, hi, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Your genmate senpai's NA and stuff? No, I'd never do that. I'm a good loyal Ryu. I can't do that. I would never turn my blade against a friend. Never. Fist Fight Club Battle Royale win? I mean, as soon as I get my grubby little hands on the Minecraft server, I'm building a Thunderdome. It'll be great. I can't wait to spend like 12 hours looking for 64 diamonds to offer them as a prize for the Thunderdome. It'll be so fun. You bonk us on a daily basis though? You don't count. Okay? How about a fight club? Maybe. I feel like, but the Thunderdome. Why not? I want to build a Thunderdome. I want to build a Thunder Pit. Not just a dome. I want to build, like, into the ground. And make it a beautiful, wonderful fight pit. Mirius sent a man. She said, I have a feeling you'd like Zevran. I think I know you. I think you know me too well. Ah! Does he always look like that? Is that just how his face is always? Like a little shithead? Aw, man. I will look no longer. Oh, she's sending in her own. She's sending in her favorite. Time to judge. That's the wrong one. That was the right one. Miri. What have you sent me, Miri? What is his name? What is his name? What is this man's name? He's so thick. What the heck? Bull! Yeah! Bull! Mary! I think his bicep is bigger than your head. Although I guess that's how you like it. Ah! No, I could never. It's glorious. I'm sorry, I don't know how I feel about men with handlebars. I don't know how I feel about that. Just something about it, okay? Something about it. It's not right. I don't know how I feel about that. What's going on? I'm scared. Me too, and I know what's going on. Mary sent me a picture of a man from Dragon Age that she thinks is attractive, and we have very different types. But you know what? That's okay. That's why we're friends. It's okay, and so now I just gotta get you to play Origins so you can hook up with Zev. I mean, this is like as close as I'm ever gonna get to a lip bite, but... That's the closest I'll ever get to a lip bite. I can't lip bite. I'll have to ask for a lip bite toggle from Utamama one day. I'll be like, Utamama, please, look, it has a purpose. We both know you like rigging mouths. Please. Just imagine the lip bite toggle, okay? Yeah. That's about as close as I can get. That's it. That's as close as I can get. That's a wink. Up. That's the best I could do. It's not my fault. I'm just an anime girl. I'm not capable of everything. Unfortunately. Although I would like to say different. I would like to say different. Taskaru. Get out of here. Lovely dinosaur costume. Thank you. It's Amora's. I took it. But she took mine, so it's only fair. Okay? It's only fair. I don't know. How do you guys think I look in pink? I don't think this is my shade of pink. My shade of pink is like More of a pastel. Like, this is just almost too neon of a pink for me, I think. I don't know. You gave it willingly? I burped. I did. Yes, I did. Oh my gosh. I ate meatballs right before stream, so now I'm burping a little bit. They were good. But yeah, now I'm burping because... one, I'm drinking water, as always, when I talk too much, and two, food. Red is basically pink anyway, but see, there's, like, different shades of colors. There's different shades. Like, I've had mental breakdowns over color shades before. Like, look, the life of a cosplayer is rough. So let me tell you guys a story of how I broke down inside of a craft store. Once upon a time, I was trying to find oh, I guess I should clarify first and foremost, that's what I meant to say, is that when it comes to shades of bluey greens and those varieties, like, I know the difference between blue, I know the difference between green. They look different. But when they are mixed and they become those blue greens, the shades are very similar. Like, they only seem like 3 or 4 shades, whereas when there's like reddish pinks or reddish purples and those sort of things, I can see so many different shades very, very, very easily. Like, I can see so many differences. I can see, it's really easy, but not so much for blues and greens. So I'm like kind of colorblind in that sense. And for the most part, I find blue, greens, like, just really not nice colors. I don't like looking at them. They make me upset because I know that I'm probably seeing them, like, wacky. And so I don't like them. And once upon a time, I went in, and this cosplay was for a character that wears blue. And I got the fabric that I needed, and then I walked over to the thread section. And I looked at the thread section like Eren Yeager looked up at the Colossal Titan as a child. Just... there were so many, and they all looked the same. And I basically took, like, all of them off, sat down on the floor, and just started trying to compare them, and, like, I just slowly started crying in the middle of this aisle in a craft store, because I was already, like, running late on time to make this cosplay, so I just was, like, having a mental breakdown in the first place. And then I was sitting here like, I can't see! And it was really bad. And eventually a person came over and was like, hey, buddy, are you okay? And I was like, which one matches? And they were like, oh, that one. And I was like, thank you. And then I left. I bought it and I left, obviously. I wouldn't just leave after that. That would have been a total waste of a mission. But yeah, it was a tragedy. And so, I tend to stick away from characters now that wear blue. But I always seem to like the characters that wear blue, and I think it's also because I like the characters that are blonde. And most of the time, people pair blue with blonde. It's either red and blonde or blue and blonde. Like, think about it. How many, like, purple and blonde characters do you see? You know? Not very many. Blonde and orange, you don't see that. It's like you really do just see like mostly like blonde with blue clothes, blonde with, okay, green, Link, yeah, but you still don't see a lot. Like, it's primarily usually red or blue, but red or blue is used as a color palette most frequently a lot of the time because it really can give you a difference in like characters. You know, there really is like a lot of color theory into how characters work. And it's like, it used to be used as a genuine technique and then a really good subversion of tropes, and now it's annoying. like all of the animated movies that come out nowadays, they always use twist villains. Like I think it like started with like Frozen or something, but like every single movie is like, surprise, it was me all along, the guy you thought that was so good. And literally like, and they never like, I want to see one where we're led to think that the villain is the villain, but they're actually the good guy. They just like are goth, you know? Like, I literally always see, like, twist villains where it's like, oh, they're always wearing, like, gold and white, or, like, blue, and they have, like, they're old and sweet, or they're, like, beautiful women. And then it's just, like, they always turn out bad in the end. Always, always, always. They always have some sort of, like, secret reason for why they're super duper angsty and mad. And they continue to, you know, try to do evil stuff. And so, I was like the best, like, kind of, yeah, like, misunderstanding, I just want a misunderstood edgelord that, like, is actually, like, a good guy. So the Marvel movies these days have that vibe. Yeah, but they're not moving towards, like, real twist villains yet, but I don't know, I'm kind of glad that they're not. I mean, I guess, like, kind of the twist villain that they did that was really good. Spoilers for if you haven't seen Loki. But I did like the idea that Miss Minutes was, like, evil. I did like that, and I liked the twist about the timekeepers not being real. Because as much as we would all of us Marvel enjoyers would like to forget pretty much everything after Endgame, but most specifically Eternals, as much as we would love to forget Eternals, it kind of did, like, open up a bit for them to play and trick us in Loki. Because, or did Eternals come out after Loki? I saw Eternals. I've watched every single Marvel project up until Miss Marvel. I tried to I did watch She-Hulk. I never watched the last episode of She-Hulk. I watched She-Hulk purely because I knew that Daredevil was in it, and then I was disappointed, and I didn't even watch the finale. I just had given up. But I watched WandaVision, I watched Loki, I watched the new Captain America thing, the Falcon one. I didn't like that one. When did Eternals come out? Eternals release date. Eternals was November 5th, 2021. And Loki was June 9th. So that means Eternals came out after Loki. Oh, then my point means nothing. Okay. Well, I was going to say, see, if they had released Eternals first, then it would have made the, like, tricking of the timekeepers that much more convincing. Because at that point, when Loki came out, we weren't really familiar with the idea of, like, or wait, maybe the season finale for Loki didn't come out before Eternals. I'm sorry, I need to check this now too. Season 1 finale Loki release date was on July 17th. That's still, yeah, that's still before Eternals. But anyways, if Eternals had come out before Loki, Eternals established the fact that there were, like, alien gods and that sort of stuff. And so it would have made kind of, like, at least the part about the timekeepers being, like, alien gods, like, it would have made it more believable, I guess. Because Eternals would have kind of already established that, at least in our mind, you know? No, I've watched Loki season 2. I've already seen that as well. I loved it. I loved Loki. That's why I'm, like, kind of, like, excited to see Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, because they changed the director, and it's the director of Loki. And so I really hope that, like, you know, this director can maybe swing in and save it? Who knows? I just wish Marvel would slow down and start focusing on stuff again. Because here's the thing. Okay, I have this opinion. I'm going to share it. And I feel like a lot of people, like, maybe have this opinion. But I don't mind the fact that they killed a lot of characters off in the Infinity War saga, like, at the end of that. That, like, to me, was okay. I don't agree with people saying that they should have just stopped there. I agree and I disagree. I agree with the fact that they should have stopped with the main, like, Avengers plotline. Yes. I think the Avengers, as they were, like, with Captain America, all that, you know, Tony Stark, that should have ended. That should have been the last of it. They shouldn't have really had much of that. And then I like that they had this, like, I don't like the idea that the Avengers is, like, coming back together with new characters. I don't want that. And I think a lot of the characters that they are bringing in are just not very interesting. And you have to realize, like, before the MCU really did anything with Iron Man was not, like, the most exciting character in the world, but they had an actor, and they had an idea, and they had a good starting point. Like, for example, Shang-Chi doesn't seem like he belongs in the Avengers. It doesn't make sense. Like, all of the Avengers, when you really think about it, had something to avenge. Like, truly and honestly. Like, you know, like, they had that drive. And that's why, like, Spider-Man fit fine in the Avengers. But, like, Moon Knight doesn't fit in the Avengers. They just don't fit in the Avengers. I would rather they had, like, something completely different, which is what I'm hoping that they're gonna do. But I also think that they shouldn't really go on with the idea of the Young Avengers, because I think the Young Avengers is just annoying, because it's just gonna be the Avengers, but with younger actors that, you know, might be subpar, and then the stories are gonna be weird anyways, because they're dealing with teenagers, which means it's gonna turn into teenage drama stuff, instead of, like, actual, like, adult superhero movie problems. It's gonna turn into a lot of, like, cheesy, dumb teenager BS, which is exactly what Miss Marvel was, which is why when I started watching it, I didn't like it at all. I gave up on Miss Marvel, like, I think, like, 2 or 3 episodes in. I, like, watched until she got the bangles and, like, went to the Avengers Con, and then after that episode, I didn't watch another one. I didn't care for it at all. And I also I won't watch anything with the Marvels in it, period. And I'm upset because I liked Photon as a character when she was introduced in WandaVision, but I don't want to see her interacting with the Marvels because I don't care for Kamala Khan or Captain Marvel. I just don't. I mean, the Captain Marvel movies were pretty mid anyways. Like, they had some good ideas, but they were done not great. And, you know, and I really also just don't like how they keep, like, messing around with Nick Fury's character. One moment he'll be, like, a badass, and then the next moment he'll be, like, an old man that can't do anything. It's, like, pick. You know, like, honestly, at this point, I wish they would just try... You know what they should have done? You know what they should have done? Instead of passing on the mantle of Captain America, they should have passed on the mantle of Nick Fury. And, like, that character arc. Not that I don't want to see Nick Fury anymore, but I do think, like, you know, if they were ending the Avengers, they should have ended, Nick Fury. And I'm not saying, like, killed Nick Fury, but they should have kept him as, like, an older, wiser tutor that you could go back to later. Like as a cameo sort of role. But, like he is, more or less, now. But, more or less, like... You know, a cameo role with someone else taking over the role of Nick Fury and supporting, like, the new superhero team that isn't the Avengers and is not the Young Avengers. It's just a new team of heroes, like, that have a different purpose than the Avengers. You know? Yeah. Yeah, the cat thing with Nick Fury was dumb. And pretty much, I'm so upset because I liked Secret Invasion. I liked the idea of Secret Invasion, but I don't like how they went about it at all. Secret Invasion could have been really cool. Honestly, it could have been really, really cool. But It wasn't. I think it would have been better if the Skrulls had never been introduced as, like, friends of Nick Fury. I think it would have been better if basically the plot to take over had always been the plan from the beginning. And that's what the Skrulls did. And that all of the things of them, like I would have rather, like, Nick Fury got a team together to clean up all of the Avenger DNA from the battle with Thanos, just like how it goes in Secret Invasion. But basically it was the Skrulls that actually, like, slipped under and did all of that. So it's the same plot, but it's different. So it would have been the Skrulls were evil the entire time. They snuck under Nick Fury's nose to, like, get all the Avengers DNA, and then they had to deal with a bunch of Skrulls running around with Avengers powers, and then Nick Fury could have called in a new team of superheroes to start dealing with threats like aliens and time travelers and, you know, all the people coming from different dimensions. And then, you know, voila, it could have been really cool. It could have been a fight of new heroes versus old powers from old heroes that we were used to. And then that's where that could have ended, and in Secret Invasion could have led into the next phase where they actually started, like, properly introducing these characters and all of that. And, you know, that's like how that's my headcanon and theory of, like, how I think that all should have gone. Because, like, when I say it out loud, like, that could have been really cool. Like, hear me out, okay? This is how it should have gone. Endgame happened, Disney Plus still happened and all of that, and they still did, like, the mini-series for stuff. Hi, Zoomy, welcome! Welcome. You're it. Zoomy, do you like the Marvel Cinematic Universe? That's what I've kind of been rant-reviewing about for a little bit, because I really like the MCU, but it's disappointed me. Hi, Zoomy! Thank you for the raid, my lovely frog. I sing you a song. Ribbit. Why is Zoomy in the jar? Because that's where she's the safest. I can protect her in there. Hi, Zoomy. How was your stream? Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, Deadpools. Hello. What are you talking about? Zoomy has always been here in the jar? Yeah, forever. She'll never leave. Zoomy has been there since the Xynodatsu. Uh-huh. The Xynodatsu? Dinozatsu. I'm dyslexic. She streams from the jar? Yeah. If Zoomy ever has mic problems, just remember she's in the jar. And that's why. Xynodatsu? Yeah. That's what we're doing today. No, I'm joking. That explains so much. Once you're on the table, you stay there eternally. Pretty much. Yeah. I don't really clean things. I don't clean things off. I know I was preaching about being a good, cleanly hikikomori, but I'm failing at my own advice. You know, it's called a relapse. It is what it is. I was trying to be healthy. But yeah, for those of you that are just coming in, I was about to share how I think the MCU should have gone after the Infinity War saga. So for those of you that are just getting here, grab some popcorn, crack a cold one, and listen to me, I suppose, ramble about this. My favorite thing in the world. Not my favorite thing in the world, but it is, like, I'd say it's in my top 10 list of things to talk about, is the MCU. And what I liked about it, and what I didn't. But yeah, post-Endgame. So, pretty much, how I think it should have gone is I think Endgame, everything that happened up to Endgame should have gone exactly as it gone. Endgame happens, Thanos, everyone's dead, yada 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 yada. I have no problems with how anything went up until that point. Alright? And here now is how I believe that it should change. So, wait, actually, can I? Never mind, I think that'll get rid of my hoodie. Never mind. So, how I believe it should have happened is that they should have made the miniseries that they made for like Wanda, like WandaVision. They should have made WandaVision and they should have made Loki. Okay, those two are fine to remain. Forget Miss Marvel. Forget everything except those two. None of them. None of the series that they made. Forget all of them. Forget all of them. Okay, it's those two series, and then one for the Falcon that does not have him taking up the role of Captain America. I want him to instead defy the role of Captain America, because I think the point they were trying to make was that, oh, it's a new Captain America, it's a new America, you know, but just changing the role, the one who fits the shoes, doesn't do anything. They're still making him Captain America. They're still, in a sense, like, think about it this way. Think about if you were actually living in that world, okay? Some other guy takes up the role of Captain America. You're not gonna look at him and go, oh, this is a new Captain America. You're gonna think, oh, someone is fulfilling the role of Captain America. So you're going to associate it with the old Captain America and the way that he went about things. And then guess what? People are gonna get super duper mad at you for not being the same Captain America. And I think the point they were trying to make was that, oh, you can be in the same mantle but play a different role. But I think it would have been so much better for the Falcon as a character if he did not hinge on being the new Captain America, like to make him quote unquote more popular or whatever. I think it would have been better if he tried to be the new Captain America. So basically, I think they should have removed the super soldier plotline from the beginning of it and all of that. I think they should have made it so the Falcon was forced to become the new Captain America, essentially, by like the government or something. And he spent the series instead trying to break out of that mold, and the villains that he fought were still the same people, but maybe like the guy like that got the super soldier serum. I think all of those guys, like, those should have been the primary bad guys. And that, like, Val getting together a team, that's still fine. She still could have been doing that. Like, she could have, like, maybe corrupted the guy that became the quote-unquote new Captain America originally could have been he could have been basically brought over to the dark side, like, way earlier on. Like, completely. Like, keep the roles the same, but make it the Falcon the one who was, like, forced into the Captain America role at first. And then his job and journey through the series was to prove that he could still do things and not be Captain America. And then in the end, he decides to not be Captain America. He gets rid of the role of Captain America and instead does, in fact, become America's new savior, in a sense. Like, he plays the role of Captain America, but he does not directly, like, get the title or the suit or the mantle. Like, he makes his own, you know? And he truly destroys the role of Captain America. Because if that's, like, I'm saying I think there still could be a place for Captain America, but the MCU clearly wanted to kind of change the mantle. I think they were too half-hearted about it. I really think they should have just instead gone all the way and just completely gotten rid of the idea that there is a Captain America. Like, you know, they should have really let him to lie. And that's how I feel about that. You like John? He was the nice guy trying to cope with the pressure of the mantle. I like that. I think John instead could have fulfilled a different role. I think he still could have had that idea about him, but it could have been something different. Like, maybe if he was, like, the secret leader or something of the bad guys or something like that. Like, maybe instead he saw the Falcon taking over as Captain America and he didn't agree with how the Falcon was going about the mantle. So that's why he gets, like, you know, the superhero super soldier syndrome. whatever, the serum from Val, and that's how he gets those powers. He gets Captain America's strength and everything, and that's how he becomes the bad guy, you know, in a sense. So you can so easily keep all of the same points from that series, but if you just change how they are, it suddenly becomes a lot more cohesive and interesting plot, in my opinion. You know? What's my take on the Thunderbolts? I don't know much about them yet. I'm an MCU only. I don't really do much for the comics, unfortunately. But yeah. You know, so that's my basic idea. So then, after the Falcon series, right? After that, we've established all that. You then, you know, and they can still make the Spider-Man movies or whatever, and the Doctor Strange movie. Those are different. Like, those are fine. I'm talking purely for, like, Avengers. So, my idea is what they really should have done before starting on quote-unquote new characters is they should have just done all of these other movies and series, wrapping up the old characters, you know? And either establishing them in new roles or retiring them completely, you know? So if they're going to keep around Doctor Strange and they're going to keep around, like, Spider-Man and all of that, give them new roles. Don't make them, like, part of the Avengers or have anything to do with the Avengers, you know? So wrap up all of those movies. Don't introduce any new ones, okay? And then, and then Secret Invasion comes in, okay? Then Secret Invasion comes in. All right? Secret Invasion comes in, and it's, as I described earlier, basically, you make it so Nick Fury doesn't know about the Skrulls. He's never known about the Skrulls. You completely erase that plot line from the MCU, basically, is how it should have gone in general. But, although I guess he knew about them for quite some time, even before, like, Endgame. So that kind of, like, ruins their idea. They could have tried to retcon it or something. But, point is, in a fantasy world, Nick Fury never knew about the Skrulls. Alright? So the Secret Invasion is still happening, and the whole plot line about them not liking him anymore, and blah, blah, blah. Basically, you get rid of Captain Marvel. That's what you really do. You just get rid of Captain Marvel. And you know, he never knew about the Skrulls. The Skrulls are coming in, they're invading, and basically, they're evil from the start. They're trying to take over the world, replace people, blah, blah, blah. And Nick Fury realizes that after he gets a cleanup crew for the Avengers DNA, like he originally did in Secret Invasion, it's actually filled with Skrulls who get a hold of all of that DNA, and then they use it, and they become superpowered. And then Nick Fury creates a new superhero team that is not the Avengers, out of the new heroes like Moon Knight, Shang-Chi, whoever you think is interesting enough to be in it, you know, they create those new heroes, and then they bring them all together. We get, you know, a little, oh, hey, hi, how are you, kind of thing. We don't know about them. We do not know very much about them. All of their series and their movies have not happened yet, okay? I'm saying, like, the Shang-Chi movie didn't come out before Secret Invasion. Like, everything after Endgame, other than those two series that I mentioned before, that's it, all right? And then, so we know nothing about these new characters. We know nothing about Moon Knight. We know nothing about that, unless you've read the comics, obviously. But as far as the movies go, completely fresh slate. He brings them in to get rid of the Skrulls, and after that, they stay a team, and then we start to get the individual series for all of the new ones, so then we get the backstory to how they became superheroes, sort of like what we got with Captain America, you know? We get that movie of how they got, or their series of how they got their powers, if they wanted to. And then you kick it off into all of the Kang stuff that was already introduced with Loki, and then you bring those new heroes in, and yada yada yada. And that's how it should have gone from there. But I'm saying, like, all those old characters, like Ant-Man, Like, let's face it. Does anyone really care about Ant-Man? I love the actor, don't get me wrong. Paul Rudd is amazing. I think Ant-Man is a very funny character. Do I think he has anything to offer the MCU? Not at all. And it just is what it is, you know? Like, it's, in a sense, no, that's a lie. He does, but he doesn't have anything to offer to the Avengers. Unfortunately. The same way that Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't have anything to offer to the Avengers. Like, I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't want them to be Avengers. You feel me? The Avengers is like, it is the superhero team. It's something different than just like all these other little groups. Like, I know that like in Endgame they like made it so quote unquote everyone was like an Avenger and brothers in arms, which is fine for a big giant like team up movie like that, but I don't want the Avengers to to be like some big team that gets slots like constantly rotated in and out of. The Avengers was Captain America, Tony Stark, Black Widow, Wanda, and the Hulk, and Vision, you know? Okay, it was those characters. Those are the Avengers. Those are the Avengers. And maybe you can add in Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and Thor. I forgot about Thor. Whoops. You know, you can add in all of those guys and they'll be fine. But those are the Avengers. And Hawkeye, okay? I don't care about Hawkeye at all, by the way. Hawkeye I really don't care about. I did say the Hulk, but I did forget about Thor. I forgot about Thor because the Thor movies, the only really good one was Ragnarok. So. And Hawkeye just was an uninteresting character. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that bugs me. Hawkeye is actually a very interesting character, but they did him dirty. I like the idea of I'm just a guy that, you know, can shoot things. He's kind of like Tony Stark in a way. Like, he isn't a superhero, but he has his own issues and things. But they didn't do anything with his family. His family was never really much of anything really to him until the Black Widow movie and all of that. And that's how they messed him over. Like, they never actually tried to make Hawkeye a character. He was never a character. He was always just like Nick Fury's like trump card guy that he called in. Think about it. Think about the only quote unquote Avenger that has never gotten their own movie. What did he get? He got a shitty little Christmas miniseries with a character that's supposed to replace him as the new Avenger in his slot. He never got any love. So like, why am I supposed to care about Hawkeye when you never cared about him in the first place? He literally was just shoved into the plot, like, to mean something to Black Widow. And to that extent, Black Widow was kind of also shoved into the plot, but at least she had more substance. Like, yeah. So that's just how I feel. I feel very strongly, as you can tell. I like the MCU, and I wish it could have been better. Yes, and it was a waste of Kingpin, because he could have also been a much more interesting villain. They really just started going wrong in a few places, but they'd already kind of sown the seeds of their, like, downfall, even before Endgame a little bit. Let's admit, they were starting to teeter slightly. They were starting to slightly teeter in a few areas. You could see it coming, unfortunately. Echo gets her own series. I don't even know who that is. You know? Like, I would have rather they tried to, like, even if they were going to, like, not start new IPs, like, Daredevil is way more interesting than Kamala Khan. Okay? Daredevil is so much more interesting. Moon Knight is so much more interesting, okay? The ones that were not interesting to me, Kamala Khan was not interesting to me, Shang-Chi was not interesting to me, the Eternals were not interesting to me. Like, they were just boring, okay? The Falcon, unfortunately, he had potential, but he turned out to be boring. He was mostly just a dude that could fly and do some helpful stuff sometimes. And then they had a chance to make him a character, and instead they just made him like, I don't know, whatever the he was. They tried to make him a character, they tried to make him care, they tried to make him something, but all of their ideas for that entire series were hollow, not followed through, and half-baked, and they probably should have just left it on the cutting room floor to begin with. Okay? And the main reason why is because and I've said this before, I don't care what kind of agenda you're trying to push at me, even if it's one I agree with, I don't want it. I don't care what the agenda is. Okay? Whether I agree with it or not, it's a fantasy, it's a movie, it's not supposed to be real. They've been trying to ground things too much in social change and social image and this and that, trying to like make people like follow a cause, like to do with like all of like what's going on in the world, and that's not the point of movies. That's not the point of superhero movies. Okay? Superhero movies can maybe have those themes in their own like versions of them, but I don't know. Like, I guess you could say that Captain America in general has always been a type of character that deals with social issues and in that sort of mantle. Yes, to that extent I do agree, because, you know, Captain America did stand for some things, but I don't like how they went about it in the Falcon, because it felt like force-fed down my throat. Whereas Captain America, like the original one, where he first got his powers and everything, didn't feel like Captain America, like, trying to, like, you know, sort through the issues of America at the time. They were brought up, they were made clear, but they weren't the focus. The focus was still Hydra and Captain America and his powers and how he came to be and how he took up that mantle. And they could have done that in the Falcon series, but they didn't. They focused way too much on all of like the agenda stuff of it. And so it just enjoyed my, it erased, that's what I meant. It erased my enjoyment of the show to that extent. Because I wanted to see a Falcon series. Instead, it kind of just felt like I was like watching something that was not like about superheroes. Because there are plenty of movies out there that deal with all sorts of issues and agendas and this and that about everything that's going on in the world. But why is it in my superhero show where it's not even supposed to be the world that I live in? Because none of these things exist. And that wasn't even the original intention of it. You know? When they started the MCU, it was just about a playboy billionaire philanthropist. Like, you know? And like, maybe they introduced some issues into it, but it was mostly about Tony Stark and being Iron Man and how he took up the mantle. Like, they know how to do it well. The MCU knows how to make a good superhero story, and they just stopped. They just stopped. Because who knows? Who knows? And to me, as someone that really likes all of that stuff, to get to that point and see all of that, like, slowly unfold, I was just like, man, you know? I got a bit heated there, but You guys, I told you guys. What did I tell you guys on my debut? During my debut, I said one of my dislikes was bad writing. I really dislike bad writing. Bad writing and bad game design. There was a noticeable difference between pre and post Disney MCU. Yeah. Have you watched Invincible yet? It's way better. I haven't. They mistook agenda for good writing or even what sells. Yeah, like, you know, what are your guys' thoughts on everything? I kind of like just went off on a bit of a tangent and didn't like listen to you guys at all. So what do you guys feel about what I said right there? I'll drink some water, you know, I'll drink some water, calm down. The steam coming out of my head, I gotta blow it away. What do you guys think? It was a good rant, good takes, all things considered. Thank you. I'd like to hope, you know. I'm just here to nod my head yes to whatever. You're the one driving. I was pretty blazed. I agree with a lot of what you said. I stopped watching Marvel. Not sure if I'll ever go back. I mean, I think Loki is worth it just for the fun of it. But that's it. There was a 3D animated Iron Man TV show way back in the Ten Rings storyline was really well. Yeah! Have I ranted about the Game Awards recently? I actually haven't seen the Game Awards. Because I'm not really like, I don't know. I have a bad habit of not really finishing video games, so I feel like I don't have a lot to say when it comes to Game Awards stuff because I'm just not much actually of a gamer. I like games a lot. Here's the thing. I don't like games for the purpose of playing them. I like games for the story. And that's sort of the problem and why it's sort of hard for me to play video games. Because I really don't get much enjoyment out of, like, the shooting or, you know, the running around or cool combat. I really only get a kick out of, like, the story and, like, maybe the graphics for the most part. But to me, it's like, it's just another way to read. It's just another way to experience a story. That's probably why I really like visual novels a lot. But visual novels are a hell to stream. You know, they're not easy to stream at all. Unless you have like a big group of people voice acting them. Which I'd like to do sometime. That would be fun. I think we have so many amazing MCU movies that even the mid ones get more hate than they deserve, but I do agree that they've been focusing less on telling unique stories. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, there are still, like, ones that are, like, pretty, like, okay. You know? Like, the new Thor movie, Thor Love and Thunder. It wasn't the worst movie that I've ever seen in my entire life. It was okay. It was mid. It wasn't, like, absolute trash, but yeah. I personally, I just really I like the comedy of it. You guys know I have a really warped and dumb sense of humor, so a lot of that humor landed for me. Guardians 3 was good. Guardians 3 was good. It could have been better, but there's a reason James Gunn got upset. Like, he had something planned for Guardians, and then they messed up Gamora. Like, I loved Guardians. I loved Guardians so much, and I was so upset about how dirty they did the Guardians, honestly. They really did. Wrong pipe. Ooh. I just swallowed water wrong. Woo. I like how he rolled with the new Gamora. I mean, that's literally all he could do. They didn't give him much of a choice. Yeah. Like, I don't know. But that clearly, you could tell that that's not what he had planned. I think. But I mean, the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie, I still really liked it. Oh my gosh, now my voice is all, ugh. Oh, that coughing hurt. I coughed wrong. You ever just cough wrong? Man. Any opinions on Spider-Man No Way Home? All of the Spider-Man movies have been pretty mid to me, and I really like Spider-Man. So, I really like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But I don't really like the Spider-Man movies much for, like, their actual substance. I like them more just for, like, the quirky little dynamic of Tom's Spider-Man and everything. Like, I like the breath of air, like, the breath of fresh air that he kind of gives to it. But the plots themselves are pretty eh. Like, even the multiverse one, like, the crossover one, it was really only good because of the crossover, but the actual general like plot about it was kind of Far From Home was better than No Way Home. Yeah, I agree with that. Which Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man? I don't know. I would just like to say Tom Holland because I'm pretty sure that Stan Lee like said to Tom Holland that like he was like the perfect Spider-Man or something like that. I don't know. Let me see. What did Stan Lee say to Spider-Man? I don't know. I thought he said something like that. Like that Spider-Man, like Tom Holland's Spider-Man was like the one that he thought was closest to his original vision or something. Well, no, I know he endorsed all of the Spider-Man. I think he just specifically said that Tom Holland's was like closest to his vision. And to that extent, I don't really have an opinion because I liked all of the Spider-Mans. I think it's like they were all pretty much on the same for me because I liked them for different reasons. And so I think like just to that extent, if I had to pick a quote-unquote favorite, it would just be the one that Stan Lee thinks is his favorite because he's the original creator. That's about it, really. First Spider-Man series was the best. I like the first Spider-Man series. I like Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man. Yeah, that is, yeah, I can agree with that. Tom Holland is my favorite. Each of them go for their own vibe. Yeah, they have their own vibe, so they're like, really, like, that's why they are just like different Spider-Man, and it's hard to compare. Like, it really is. Well, that was a good rant. I wore myself out with that rant, honestly. If I'm being completely honest. That's a pretty common thought, yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it's a pretty common one. What am I getting pinged for? What did Sumi do? Oh my gosh, Zumi made us in The Sims. I'm gonna retweet this on Twitter right now. I'm retweeting it as we speak. Oh my goodness. Sumi made herself a baby. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, wait. Here, I'm gonna put the link in chat so you guys can see this. Here's a link to that. That's what I got pinged for. And Amora saw that I kept my promise. You bet I did. You bet I did, Amoa. To be Spidey solely for the iconic dance scene? Yeah, that's fair. I did respond to that, right? Didn't I? Yeah, there we go. Hee hee hee, I be watching. Hee hee hee, hello. Hi, I'm Mama. Your sim looked cute, Blaze. Is she single? No. I'm sorry, I belong to a council of wives. Although I guess you said Sim Blaze, but she too also does belong to a council of wives. So, sorry about that. Hi, I am wife. Yeah, the council of wives. It's canon. It's canon, but not canon. It's a headcanon. Hello, hi. The council will decide your fate. How'd you feel about my little superhero rant, Amora? Do you watch the MCU at all? Or not really? Indeed, very wife, much counsel. Council of side hoes? No! Never. I've seen film, but I never got super invested. That's fair. I remember you said you very frequently like listen to my Zatsus like with me in the background. You just heard me like really angrily like talking for like 20 minutes about that. Whatever you're doing, like if you're like drawing, it must just be like angry now. Thor Ragnarok was probably my favorite. Yeah, I liked Thor Ragnarok a lot. I liked Thor Ragnarok when it came out. That one, See, but it's because it was such a breath of fresh air. That's why people liked it. And then they just kept doing the same thing. And that's why people didn't like it anymore. Not gonna lie, I agree with you on the bad writing front. Well, you know. That wasn't angry, that was confidently American. Yeah. Ugh. My like heart is still pounding from that. I got too aggressively ranty. Ragnarok was great, but took the leash of Taika and went too far with Thor 4. Yeah. Yeah, it pivoted the Borefest, but then it just kind of went too far. You saw What If? I liked What If, personally. I liked that a lot. I can't wait for the second season. That's gonna be very fun. I did a lot today. I edited some videos. I'll give you guys a little bit of a hint. But it's gonna be posted soon. And I did something with I did a bit of a skit from perhaps a well-known series called The Office. So that's gonna be exciting. That's gonna come out soon. As a short. And I thought it was I've been editing it to the best of my ability. I like doing my quirky little like half-ish edits. Like they take a lot of work, but they also don't. I try to make them look simultaneously like work was put into them, but also that they're shitty. Like a mid-budget film. And so I really like it. Want to see more of Supreme Strange? Well, he's dead though, I think, right? Isn't Strange Supreme like the one from the other universe that got blasted? Of the Doctor Strange movies? I liked the original Doctor Strange movie, and I haven't liked any of the other Doctor Strange stuff. I haven't liked literally anything I've seen Doctor Strange in, like, other than his own movies. He just doesn't work well with other heroes, unfortunately. Some of the heroes, that's the other thing too, is that when you have such a big multiverse, sometimes it doesn't really make sense when certain characters, like, exist and interact. Like, it just doesn't feel right, you know? And sometimes it just straight up, like, doesn't feel like, it's like, you know, like, why would Doctor Strange, like, not do this or do that? It's stuff like that comes up all the time. Like, oh, why didn't the Eternals, like, do anything about Thanos? Like, that kind of stuff. Like, you know, so many little plot holes kind of get sewn in. Deliberate Scuff is a hard vibe to get right. I respect your work. Thank you. I think the sci-fi parts of the MCU work better than the magical side. Yeah, I can agree with that as well. What in the What If? Oh, where he trapped in the destroyed world thing. Yeah, I'm excited to see more with him too in the new What If. I like the character of Doctor Strange, not so much the movies. Yeah. But I do really like Benedict Cumberbatch. So, I'm weak. Like, I've watched a lot of stuff with Benedict Cumberbatch in it. I will watch things purely because Benedict Cumberbatch is in them, actually. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. You forgot about the elementals. Are they elementals, or aren't they called... Wait, is that what they're called? Wait. Elementals. No, they're not called the elementals. Wait, what are they at? Wait, oh my gosh. Now that Amora called them the elementals, I don't know what their actual name is. Because... Eternals! Oh my god. See, that's how little I care about the Eternals, is that I barely even remember to bother with their name. Like, she put elementals in my head, and I was like, wait, is that their name? Like, Amora just, like, accidentally, like, flash brainwashed me by accident. My brain is that scattered all of the time. This is how I live. Like, imagine being trapped, like, imagine being the marble trapped rattling around in here. Like, and that kind of stuff happens to you. This is how much I don't know about them. Oops. Not even Marvel cares about the Eternals? Yeah, not even Marvel cares about the Eternals. Nope. Amora using the Mandela effect to its fullest extent. For real, for real. In Amora's world, it's called the Elementals. That's true. Eternals was a terrible movie. It was. Do your brain cells rattle around like Amora's? No, they don't really rattle around, unfortunately. Not in the same way. Mine are like just like gelatinous. They aren't even like, you know, like at least Amora's are like crystallized and beautiful brain cells that make clacky clacky noises. Mine don't do that. Mine are just slow and flabby and yeah. They don't do anything. Goopy brain cells. The Elementals were the villains in the second Spider-Man movie. Oh, you're right! They were too, yeah. So Elementals did exist. Gelatinous. You have slime girl brain cells? I wish. I wish. Liquid smooth. Just a bit, just a bit. Oh no! Well, I'm yawning. I think it might be EP time. I've been trying to go to bed when I've been feeling tired recently to try to like really just work with my sleep schedule and my body and everything, because it's actually like pretty healthy, you know, to sleep when you're tired. And I am starting to devolve into eepiness, so it may be time. It might indeed be time. Do you think Slime Girls could have saved Marvel? Most definitely. Slime Girls and Cat Girls and Dragon Girls and Vampire Girls and like all the Monster Girls, yes. Still can't believe still noticed the giant celestial poking out of the earth yet? Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of surprised no one's noticed that either. Yeah, my neurons are very eepy. Very eepy. What about Squirrel Girl? All the girls. All of the girls. What if Doctor Strange is all those Monster Girls? Oh man, you're right. Supreme Strange kind of is, isn't he? Squirrel Girl is fun. Let's see. Time to go a raidin'. Today we are going to raid, or tonight I suppose, we are going to raid into... Let's see. We can go to Pochi. She's having a 48-hour donathon. Then there is Connie, Cruelty Squad. Rana is playing Liza P. And Rocky is doing Annie Song... Is it Annie Song Karaoke? Is that what she's doing? Let me check. I can't always tell with the cutoffs, how they cut off sometimes. Oh wait. Is she still doing that? I don't have her on my list. That's weird. I can't see her on my thing. We haven't raided Pochi before? Have we not raided Pochi before? I guess we haven't. Or maybe, I don't know. But like, I guess we could. We could raid Pochi if we haven't done it very often. Yeah. Let's go raid Pochi! Pochi Wanmaru. That seems like fun. Let's go check out what she's doing. Movie funds. That's what she's doing. Interesting. Let's go see what's going on over there. I will see you guys. Actually, I will not see you guys. I will see... Oh, wait. No, never mind. We're not going to Pochi. Pochi is sleeping. Pochi is asleep. We will not be going to Pochi. Yeah, Pochi is asleep. We're gonna be going not to Pochi. Let's go to Rana. Let's go to Rana. Time for you guys to watch more Lies of P, because I definitely haven't made you guys watch enough. But yeah, good night, Amora. Thank you. Thank you for being here for a little bit. But basically tomorrow is my first membership stream. So for those of you guys that are members, I will see you guys for a Zatsudan at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And yeah, we're gonna be deciding a few things just as far as members content goes in general. And you know, you guys might want to check the community tab after the stream. like maybe 5 or 10 minutes after the stream, and you might see a little something there that might pique your interest. So yeah, I will see you member newbies tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And for all the newbies that are not members, I will see you again on Monday. Worry not. And yeah, let's go raid Rana. Good night, newbies. Night night. Thank you for becoming a member, Nate. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Night night.